So, Mark, you and I talked about this informally before, but level with me. How close did you come to running for president?
If my family had not voted it down, I would have done it.
Wow. Was it like everyone against you, or was it like a split
No, it was
vote, or what was
everybody
it?
against me because they didn't want to go through the grief. You know, I've got three kids, 10, 13, and 16. My son Jake and daughters
So very
Alyssa.
important ages. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's difficult, and it'd be brutal for them because everything I've ever done in my life, for better or worse, it would be a target. All those
Oh my gosh, you're right.
all those drunk pictures of me online. I mean, I played rugby for God's sakes in college. There's every crazy picture from rugby parties, that already got circulated when it was just me discussing it. And so I don't want to put them through it.
Well, your family is smart. I certainly missed you out there on the trail. I think you would have added a ton.
Well, I would have been an independent. You wouldn't have seen me on your trail. I would have gone as an independent. I really would have. I think it's time. I'm not a fan of either party. No disrespect to what you were doing.
None taken.
I just think, you ask yourself as entrepreneurs, right? You ask yourself, if things are being done the same way forever, is it still valid that they still should be done that way?
The definition of insanity, isn't it? I mean, it's one reason why people are getting so fed up.
Exactly. And so do we still need parties?
Or if we have these parties, and I know I saw you're interested in elements of democracy reform, like, do we need a third party? Do we need ranked choice voting so people have some flexibility?
I love
right now you have this duopoly.
Yeah, I love ranked choice voting. I'm a big fan. People always ask me about another party, like I'm sure they asked you. I'm sure they suggested you run independently. The challenge is when you create another party, you still get the same party dynamics. It's just a different party. You still get the desire for power. You still get the people who want to think they're in charge and set the agenda and think their agenda is the only way. So as much as you walk in thinking this is going to be different, it will be for a while, but at some point you get the same thing that happens in any organization where power creates its own privileges and opportunities, and you just turn into another party. And so that's why, to me, I'd rather do this as an independent. And, honestly, I did some polling. And
I want to hear this. No way. I mean, of course you would. Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, right. And so with independents, I'll be curious to see what yours turned out to be. That in a three-way with Trump and Biden, I got like 70% of independents. But I did get, I won't give you the exact numbers yet because I promised somewhere else that I'd release them. But I did good with Trump and not as well with Democrats. And I got about 25% in a three-way. And there just wasn't enough. I didn't see enough of the upside to fight my family over it. But 25% as an independent in a three-way.
That would have been the all-time high, right? What did Pro get? 21? Like you would.
Yeah, 19 or 21 or something. Yeah. And look, 15, that was in a perfect scenario, right? To be honest, we didn't, when you do these polling, you don't throw in all the bad stuff about your candidate. You kind of play it up. But, they thought that even with promotion, marketing, and everything, my lid was probably 25%.
That's so interesting, Mark. I mean, you have a persona where I genuinely think the bad stuff would not have mattered. It'd be like Mark Cuban got drunk, like blah, blah, blah. It's like, of course he did.
That's okay with me. My skin is thick enough, right? I own a sports team. Everybody thinks I'm an idiot at some point. So I'm not worried about that. But my kids, that's a different beast. My 10-year-old still thinks I hung the moon half the time.
Well, I will say, I mean, it was tough on my family, and my boys are too young to know what the hell daddy was doing. They just saw that I had a bus, So your family, family's wise. But I think you as an independent would have been awesome. Like, I got to say, like, you bring something very, very needed to the national stage. And I can tell too, like, you and I met at the White House because we were just trying to do wholesome stuff. But like, you're driven by trying to help the country.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I'm the luckiest guy in the world, Andrew. I mean, I don't need another dollar. I'm set. My family's set. Their future generations are set. So that's not of importance to me. But I love this country. I'm not in this position without the United States of America, without every opportunity that's been afforded to me. And I recognize I've been on both sides. My parents didn't go to college until after I graduated and helped them go to college, right?
Well, that's good of you. That's a good son.
My dad did upholstery on cars. It's just, I've been on both sides, and I just like it. It's fun to me to help small businesses. That's why I do Shark Tank. It sends the message the American dream is alive and well, and that you can come from nothing and go out and start something. Damon John calls it the power of broke. And so I'm at that point in my life now that this is my way to contribute. This is my way to help.
Amen.
And like I've said many times, you don't have to be the leader to be a leader. So whether or not I do run, there's still plenty of opportunity for me or anybody else for that matter to step up, just like you're doing, right? And, really bring topics to the forefront, really inspire people to do things that change the game. Because when we get to the other side of this, the America 2.0, we're going to look back in 10, 15 years, and there's going to be how many, 5, 10, 20, 25 world-changing companies that are created because of the pandemic of 2020. And there's a better than 50-50 chance that most of them are going to come from someone who was down on their luck, down to their last dollar, that had an idea that everybody thought was crazy and made no sense at all. They went for it, and it changed the game. If I can inspire, watching you, when you inspire people like that, when you can get out there and just make it a little bit better, why wouldn't you do it?
Oh, that's the American spirit, man. That's why people love you. And you're a true patriot, and definitely, if not the leader, a huge leader. And when we're all using Cuban cards with this $1,000, use it or lose it within 10 days, we're going to know.
I was trying to deal with quarantine here.
Well, you look great. And so thrilled to fight for America 2.0 alongside you, Mark. You're one of the big champions of where the country needs to go. And you and I need to help make it happen.
Absolutely. I really enjoyed you having me on. Thank you for having me on. I love these kind of conversations, man. I love just to get into the weeds and just be challenged and challenge people, because that's how we learn. That's what makes this country better. And that's why, always been a big fan, because you're always open-minded. You're always looking for a new direction, and you're not afraid if somebody says they don't agree. You're like me. That's the person we want to talk to.
That could be the foundation of the new third party.
Let's go.